Good morning, everyone. This is Ben, and welcome to Garden on a Hill. In today's episode, I'm going to take you on a tour of the backyard vegetable garden, where it's currently mid-spring here in Zone 7B in the Atlanta, Georgia area. And I'm going to show you some of the vegetables I'm growing at its current state. And this is actually the first tour of my backyard vegetable garden. We're going to show you some of the Asian greens and southern greens that we're growing here at Zone 7B. So come with me. So here we are at the back deck. Just an overview. We are going to be joined today by 2 tour guides. So this is the top of the hill where the marigold and sunflower beds are. This is the mid part of the hill where most of my 6-inch to 3-foot tall plants are. And at the very back would be the lowest part of the hill where my trellises are, where the climbing vines are. Interplanted in between are some of the smaller plants that require some shade. Okay. So we're still working on the garden paths here. Everything is work on progress. So for the flower beds, just a quick view. These are just sunflowers, cosmos, marigolds, zinnias, and then some ochras planted in between. So we did this wire structure, basically just made from wire, very thin wire, to hold them up as they grow. Okay, that's the first row. So the second row, as you'll notice, part of my beds have this black plastic because they are on the side where it doesn't have too much sun. So, it's a good place for them to, it's a good area to put this plastic to trap more heat, and it's been working. So these are just different kinds of peppers. I think it's Cowhorn and sweet banana peppers. These are Japanese eggplants on this side. Actually, they're starting to flower very early, and these are Japanese eggplants as well, so more of the Asian varieties. And these are the Italian varieties called Rosa, Bianca. Right? So behind me is a setup where I'm trying to grow seeds. This is Egyptian spinach. I'm gonna pull one out to show you. So I'm using a cup as a greenhouse just to protect it. So these are Egyptian spinaches, or I think it's called Molikhia. That's also an Asian green. All right, moving forward. These are mustards that we've been harvesting every day, and they're starting to bolt now. So another southern or western green. And these are bok choys, which are more of Asian greens. And these have been harvested. We're actually growing them for the seeds. You can see the seed pods here. They're about ready. So we're just waiting for them to dry. We tied them up so we can get sun for the underplantings, which in both cases, they have underplantings of okra that are about to come up. So this one also has an okra underplanting coming up. And also a lot of Chinese red amaranths that are coming up. There are a lot of them. So these were underplanted with the bok choy, another Asian green. That's actually a volunteer sunchoke. Okay, that's pretty much the 6 inches to 3 foot high vegetables, because the sun comes from this way, and I planted it in a way where these get the sun, and then these would get the sun, but they're more screened because they're trellises. So as you can see, the setup is I have main posts at the ends, cable wires holding these bamboo trellises. All right, so I'll go row by row. These are string beans or asparagus beans. On this bed, on this whole line, are asparagus beans. So it's a lot of them. Another Asian green. These are just regular spinach underplanted, starting to bloom now. I think there's some amaranths here too, so there's another combination of Asian greens and regular Western greens. And then these are just different varieties of tomato on this row. So you can see I've used my trellis to support each tomato. These are called winged beans, and these are another set of Asian greens. Lots of stir fries and other things. These are chayotes, which are Asian, and also I think there's Latin American greens. Those are sweet potato leaves. So we do eat sweet potato leaves as part of Asian greens. They're not really grown for the crop, but for the greens. Another chayote on this area. Slowly going up. And then these are Blue Lake and Kentucky Wonder beans. Pole beans. So again, very Western varieties. I'm doing a lot of combinations here. So these would be a row of different climbing plants. Now this side, as you notice, the walkway becomes wider because I have a bird feeder right there. I made from a chicken coop. I'll make a video about that. But this is also, we pull in the cart, right? So moving into this bed, I have these giant red mustards that I planted very closely, and it worked very well. We've been harvesting a lot. They're now blooming for the seeds, but basically a western green, interplanted with King Kong. So these are King Kongs. They're Asian water spinaches. So Asian greens and then some amaranths coming up. In the same bed, I have tomatoes, which are already, actually, they already have tomatoes here. In this middle row, I have winged beans, same winged beans there. So this row, I have a variety of plantings. There is this cucumber here, King Kong, which is a water spinach Asian vegetable. Another chayote in there. And then Kentucky Wonder or Blue Lake pole beans. All right, another set of cherry tomatoes. These are the super sweet cherry tomatoes. Another set of green beans. I think these are Kentucky Wonder beans growing up already. These are different vines, and I think this is an angled Lufa. This is another Asian green with patty pan squash that are coming up. These are Native American greens. I think they're Native American varieties. That's an angled Lufa. These are pole beans. So these pole beans, I think, are Kentucky Wonder too. Okay. So the last row of beds are just strawberries. There's a lot of plants in here, and they're doing all very well. Strawberries have been harvested. They've been blooming like crazy. These are beans coming up to climb up this trellis. And there's Egyptian walking onions planted in between. Okay. And then these are bitter melons. So this is a row of bitter melons here. Another row of angled Lufa. And then King Kong coming up. And then those are just regular Cherokee yellow beans. Okay, so just another set of beans. There's some peppers planted in between. And bitter gourd for this row. So just to give you an overview, this is how it looks like from the rear. That is pretty much the current progress of the garden, and I'm really excited this year. This is the first year that I actually established the beds and had time to work on it. And next year I'll get better, but I'll give you tours as we go through this season. This is mid-spring and everything's looking pretty good. I have actually another garden behind me, which is the orchard, and I'll do another tour about it. So thank you so much for watching this video.